Although it's rapidly approaching afternoon. Thank you all for being so patient with us. You all know what an incredibly special day this is as you all settle down. Not only are we going to hear the most interesting, in-depth lecture that any of us have ever heard about the Robinson Gardens, because it's going to be given to us by the real expert here on premises, but it is also a very special day because this is actually Ivo's birthday. Thank all of you that waited for our shuttles, and we apologize for any discomfort that may have caused, but we are thrilled to have everybody here today. Every one of you has a relationship with Ivo, and he is very special to all of us, and to one of the reasons why we do all the things that we do here at the Gardens. So I would like to first of all introduce our superintendent, Tim Lindsay, who will talk a bit about how Ivo came to be the precious gem in this jewel of a crown.
Thank you, Marilee. Welcome, everybody. And I'm so glad you agreed to give this presentation today. Ivo, I think it's a very important part of our understanding of the heritage of the Robin Estate. When I was first asked to make this introduction today, I said yes, enthusiastically, yes, I would do it. Then I was told I had just 5 minutes to do it in, and with some extensive negotiations, I'm at 6 minutes, 35 seconds, so I really need to get started. Ivo is a friend and a confidant, and he's a mentor. And to our children, many of them know him by Uncle Ivo. Ivo has done so many wonderful things for us. This is a man of great style and tradition, and is beloved by all who know him. Our admiration for him comes from his friendship that he so freely extends to everyone, and his steadfast commitment to family, and of course he has been the perfect guardian of this wonderful historic estate. And for the past 40 years, he has begun his duties at 5 a.m. in the morning. Was that true this morning, Ivo? 5:30. Okay, I'm glad you slept in. It's your birthday. Job well done. Ivo, I remember the first day I started here 10 years ago, and you took me into your office, and you said, I'm the old majordomo, and you're the new director. And he turned to me and he said, and I was rather surprised, the pleasures and problems are all your own. I really didn't get it, but I understand what you mean.
And the speak.
Before Ivo makes his presentation on the memoirs of the Robinson Estate, I would like to tell you a little bit about this gentleman, his interesting and challenging life before he started. So let's go back to 1927. Ivo was born in Sofia, Bulgaria. Ivo's father was a medical doctor, and his mother's family owned an international tobacco company. When Ivo was just a child, he suffered the loss of his father, and was raised by his mother and his grandmother in the home that his mother was born in. After his graduation from college, he worked in Bulgaria as a government official. Matter of fact, he was the first Secretary of Parliament in charge of cultural affairs. Ivo has always had a great appreciation for classical music and the arts, and he freely shares that knowledge with all of us. As communists advanced in Eastern Europe in the 1950s, Ivo and his family lost their country as they knew it, and they were forced to relinquish not one, but 2 family homes to the communist government. Eventually, both of them were utilized by the government as embassies. Ivo told me every home he ever owned was turned into an embassy. In 1965, Ivo had the difficult decision to leave his country that he no longer recognized as his own and leave his family behind to defect to Italy and his beloved city of Rome. While in Rome, he studied at the university and earned a doctorate degree in philosophy. He also worked for a cardinal at the Vatican translating various documents. Ivo was fluent in 5 languages. During this time, he also did not forget his fellow countrymen and would daily meet trains arriving from Bulgaria and would provide information to traveling diplomats on how they may join him in defect to Rome. The United States government recruited Ivo to join the National Security Council as an advisor on Baltic countries. While traveling in the United States, he met Mrs. Robinson, and in 1969, at her invitation, he joined her staff to become the 3rd and final majordomo. 3 years later, Ivo earned his United States citizenship. One of his sponsors was Mr. Clark, the president of GM Motors at the time.
And Mr. Robinson?
Mrs. Robinson. The rest is history. And we know Mrs. Robinson would be grateful to Ivo as a trusted friend and someone to lead her staff of 21 in the tradition of the old world. Ivo has graciously given much to us and to the legacy of the estate. Our friend Ivo exemplifies many lessons of life, especially his ability to navigate life's adversities. I'm going to wait.
Wait, give me a smile and hold on. Slowest thing ever.
All and with the time of Mr. Robinson.
Ivo has graciously given much to us and the legacy of the Robinson estate. Our friend Ivo exemplifies many lessons of life, especially in his ability to navigate life's adversities and to do it with grace while remaining positive and caring towards other fellow human beings. Today is his birthday, and I would like to present to him from all of us a few words that I feel summarize what he has taught us about life and living. In the time of your life, live. Seek goodness everywhere. And when it is found, bring it out of its hiding place and let it be free and unashamed. Discover in all things that which shines and is beyond corruption. Be the inferior of no man, or of any man be superior, for every man is a variation of yourself. In the time of your life, live. So in that wondrous moment, you may not add to the misery and the sorrow of the world, but shall smile at the infinite delight and mystery. It's with great pleasure and respect that I present to you Ivo Hadjiev.
It's a great honor for me to be in front of you in the same time to talk about Mrs. Robinson. Because a special person, one special person in all my life, and she left one reflection, but I keep it percent. I'm so glad. Everybody came, a lot of people came, and all my friends. Maybe that's the respect because I don't have a family. That's my family. Where is my family? And thank you for your presentation. You are received. I never thought so many people to come in. You're my 80th birthday. Now I recognize and I respect more Mrs. Robinson's memory because the lady of the house worked until 85. Now I'm 80 years. And I know what it's the 80, and I know to work until 85, every day in the morning with his car. Sometimes she drive his Duesenberg. They were 6 in her life. She was to go. That was the lady from the house. Work until 85 of the age of 85. Now I realize, because I'm in the 80s. Today it's my 80s. And I think how to present myself in front of you. Because I have to tell you everything what you know. But no matter what, I decided to take you to one promenade to the past. To the past with Mrs. Robinson. And that's one glorious past for me. In that glorious past, with Mrs. Robinson, created one glorious present with you, with the friend of Robinson's garden. And that's the extension of that glorious past to one glorious present. And this is the section of my presentation. Glorious past and glorious present. And that's my life. 40 years, my dear distinctive ladies, that's the long period. I have some limitation of the time, and I have to be very careful about this thing. The glorious past start with one noble thought of the lady of the house to dedicate this private estate, her house, her home, one of the best estates of Beverly Hills, to be open to the public. How her generous uncle, Leslie Brand, did years before. And she decided, for one period from 1964 to 1974, for 10 years, Mrs. Robinson informed all your friends, because a lot of people have a different idea about this estate, etc., etc. She liked to do it in his own way, in the way of his own family. And she did. Was very instrumental between 1970 to 1974, because Mrs. Robinson started to talk very often. She dedicated this place to the County of Los Angeles, and we have a great help of the Chief Deputy of the Supervisor Edelman. In those days, Alma Fitch. She arranged one meeting, two meetings, with Mr. Robinson, very private meeting, with Mr. Robinson and Director Emeritus of Bulgaria, Dr. Stewart, who is familiar with the ideas of Bulgarian, not who is Dr. Stewart. Old-fashioned, gentleman from San Marino. Mr. Robinson met him a few times. And after Mr. Robinson met, very incognito, the president of the foundation in Arcadia, Mrs. Lutz. I like to be honest with you today. We cannot find it. Better liaison, the Dr. Stewart and Mrs. Lutz. Mrs. Robinson was so happy. And furious. But 1960 to 1970, the time flies, and between very important was in 1974, Mrs. Robinson officially in the press, in the television, bequeathed his property to the County of Los Angeles to be open for the public and representation. In those days, all the four supervisors was here, and they planted one beautiful Cassia Splendida in front of the house. Miss Robinson pointed the corner. These 4 supervisors, and they did that plaque of Mrs. Robinson. They planted that beautiful Cassia Splendida, who was bigger like that. Now the Cassia Splendida, it's over the house of Mrs. Robinson. It's in diagonal with one cactus, but in those days, say Miss Robinson, we tell the supervisors. These 4 supervisors dig in dirt and planted this cassia. And Miss Robinson said, hey, this cactus now, what you see here in diagonal with your Cassia Splendida, was donated to me from Arabella Huntington, Mrs. Huntington. They was very good. And now, that cactus, I look something from the front of the old pavilion, is toward the house of Mrs. Robinson. And the beautiful yellow medallion of the Cassia Splendida, it looks like glorification of the house of Mrs. Robinson. There's nothing special. It's one-story house. But with a lot of history, a lot of memories, becoming to me house of the memories. After this years, after dedication, Supervisor Edelman had a new chief deputy, Mr. Gels. Very intelligent, very active, and very enthusiastic person. He created one nice group. And thank you God, I see few of them. And then he worked with that. That was John Sullivan. That was John Bees, Barbara Nemiroff, Helen Bing, you know the Bing Theater in the Art Museum, etc. There all was dozens, but I talk a little bit later. And they worked very well with the chief deputy of the supervisor, Edelman. He was the great. I remember everyone who did something with great plus to our time. And the time passed. After Mr. Robinson, a few years, 3 or 4, in 1977, she passed away. Had a few years and a half until probation of the will, etc. And these gracious ladies, what I mentioned 2 minutes, they heard it. Robinson's department store and his president, Michael Gould, decided to celebrate 100 years of 1982, 100 years of Robinson's department store. This gracious lady talked with Michael Gould and with those days his fiancée, Mrs. Gould, and they was successful to convince the president of the Robinson's department store, Michael Gould, to move this celebration for 100 years of Robinson's department store to be here in this place, in the property of Mrs. Robinson. That was the greatest success of these ladies. And I deeply and profoundly appreciate that. The celebration of 100 years of Robinson's department store was in this place. It was becoming event of that year. Supervisor Edelman attended that celebration. Supervisor Edelman attended that celebration, and in his speech declared, we have a Mrs. Robinson these beautiful celebrations under this Rose's department store. And now, say, with the county owned this place because in 1974, Mrs. Robinson bequeathed his beautiful property in the gardens to the county of Los Angeles. And I want to inform you, we have something else. We have one group, enthusiastical ladies who have to control and do everything to preservation of this place. And he announced our founder and first president was our dear friend, Mrs. Sullivan, John Sullivan. Please, John, stand in. Our first president, and our founder, John Sullivan. Our first president was announced with Supervisor Edelman. In my office, I have a plaque, my first plaque. It's signed from Lady Sullivan and her supervisor Edelman, from our first lady and our founder, and I become a member, honorary member of this new group in Beverly Hills, Friends of Robinson's Park. Immediately, her assistant president, John Weiss, I'm sorry, it's not here. She always traveled, John Weiss. She was a long time in England. I don't know now. And John Sullivan used his connection immediately. Used his connection, these two ladies, with CBS. And in the high level, because I like to mention he was John Sullivan, my dear friend, is the very skilled people. And she convinced the president of CBS, Mr. Richardson, to come in to our place here. And they meet him here with John Weiss. They convinced him the event of the new season of the CBS in 1982, the same day, in the same year, to be open the house, to be open the house, and to be here. The house was opened in 1982. That's the reason the Friends celebrate 25 years. And Mr. Richardson came. He okayed this beautiful place. And the ladies was very happy. And I was very happy. And that was the celebration of the new season here in the property of Mrs. Robinson. Thank of John Sullivan and John Weiss, and thank of the president of the company, CBS, Mr. Richardson. Gentlemen from the Alpha to the Omega. It was beautiful event. Beautiful event. I never see in my long life 4 bars of Beluga, Ossetra, Sevruga, and so on. 4. And I never see in all my life 4, 5 bars of the chocolate, the baked chocolate, Maison de Chocolat. I never see Fauchon. I never see so many Cahiers, milk, etc., and Deutsche. That was CBS. It was a remarkable party. I never see such a thing. And start. I miss it to tell you, after supervisor Edelman make an announcement. John Sullivan is here, in case I make some mistake, because everything is pro memoria now.
Ivo, you remember so much. I'm shocked. Never tell him anything you don't want him to remember.
John, it's 8 years, maybe I missed something. But after Supervisor Edelman, we still, in the first year, with the friends, 1982. After supervisor announced we have one social group, new social group in Beverly Hills. It's and to take care for the preservation in the open house of Mrs. Robinson. We now announced the Friends of Robinson's Garden. Michael Gould was first donor. He donated to the Friends of Robinson's Garden, to the Friends of Robinson's Garden, first 10,000. We start from 10,000. And John Sullivan, thank you, all the executive team. After Mr. Richardson, okay, the party to be in 1982, to be here in this place. I remember I have a question with Mr. Richardson. How is the fee? We for first time rented this place. And I say 20,000. Because I heard that Michael Gould did 10, I say 10,000, 20,000, 10,000 more. He accepted everything. The party was great success, everything was great. Next year, we have a new president. In those days, the president was only for 1 year. But she was the president emeritus, and she was John Sullivan, our father. Our second president, and I'm so happy to see him here, Barbara Nemero. Barbara Nemero, please, standing, I want everybody to. Our second president. In 1980, Barbara Nemero, very special person. We work very well with Barbara Nemero. All these ladies, the new blood, the Friends of Robinson's Garden, they were so enthusiastic. They was blessed. Barbara Nemero used his own connection with Tiffany Company and was very successful. Barbara, with his delicacy, with his refinement, she persuaded Tiffany Company, for the first time in the history of the Tiffany Company, they override our gala for $50,000. And with his own airplane, they bring china, silverware, linen to supply our event. Never happened in the history of the Tiffany Company. Is that true, Barbara? Never happened in the history of the Tiffany Company. Always in New York, etc. Tiffany Company about everything. We stay after the beautiful gala what we had in Egypt. We stay a staff with Tiffany and myself until 4 o'clock in the morning to account all the silver, all the china, all the linen. Nothing missing, nothing was broken. And next day, I wait until 10 o'clock because it's Beverly Hills. I was scheduled with Mr. Robinson, not before 10 o'clock. I telephoned to Barbara Nemero to report to Barbara Nemero. I said, Barbara, everything was beautiful. We account all the silverware, china, and crystal. It's nothing that's broken, nothing that's missing, except they forget 2 boxes with linen. Barbara Nemero tell me, don't worry, Ivo, I take it to Tiffany here. But everything is in order and nothing missing. I'm not surprised, say Ivo. That's but our second president, they always don't say. I like to mention. John Sullivan Victor, Barbara Nemero Victor. I still remember in the one of the gate, it's Barbara Nemero, and in the other gate stayed Helen Bean. I don't see Helen being here, but she's very busy, probably is in San Francisco. She's dear darling friend. I have a lot of memories with this first president. They was excellent dozen from the beginning. Bridget Martin, she was dozen. Here to me in the first row, it's one of our president, Mary Lee Beck. And we start, but Mary was dozen with the children, and I was dozen. But we start from the beginning. And I have a special respect to Mary Lee Beck. And I asked Mary Lee Beck in my office, Mary Lee, I want you to open my presentation, because where it's otherwise I have to ask John or some other president, Burnett, and Mary Lee said yes. And one other things I like to share with you my deeply respect to Mary Lee Beck. I was operated with open heart surgery, everybody. Thank God it's okay. And it was Easter. I received phone call. It was Mary Lee Beck in the phone. I received phone call. And she said, today you have Easter. You cannot stay alone, operate with open heart surgery. In the hospital room, I come to make a company, and I bring the albums and some books, and I will greet you. To the end, to last my bring this person to do this. Tim Lindsay, bring the food and share the food with me in the hospital. It's not very pleasant to have a luncheon in the hospital with one person who is operated with open heart surgery and lay down in the bed. Tim did 3-4 times. The representative of the county, the manager, came to see me. And what was our gala, because I'm the honorary member, our gala, the last gala, he came to my father with lot of people. Daniel Norris was around, and they came to see me. Marcel was other one. Her husband was there to see me, and we shared some more hours with our manager on the Arcadia, because I was in the chair, rocking chair, but Daniel Norris donated to me after the surgery to relaxation. The such a people I have in this my family. I want to mention to you, there's so many memories. This place becoming place of my memories. To see here Barbara Nemero, to see here John Salvin, to see all of us here. And one, the former president, is my dear friend Claudia Deutsch, who said to me, we have a guest and we buy it for you pajama, because now I always have to have my pajama, and we buy it, say, for in Rome, and do you have all the accommodation in your guest room, and we have to, from Tardiris I go in that house to have a Friday dinner. Tradition Shabbat. I was stranger in those days, in the chair, but was still the stranger in the Dutchess family. And now, Claudia took me to the Stephen Weiss School, and I was introduced, because Benji was overseas, his grandpa was overseas, etc. And her son Jeremy, we stayed in one chair, he introduced me. One stranger, 30 years ago, was stranger, came to our house, occupied stranger's chair, and now he becoming member of our family. And he did a presentation for me. because my dad and my grandpa is overseas. That the strangers becoming member of the family. The basic one of tradition. I have a lot of memories of this. And with Mrs. Robinson and with everyone, because we were so nice and good. And now, in my 80th birthday, I'm so happy to see you. And I'm not alone. And thank you for, I have here something please, but I have to be respectful for the time. To see my extended family, my family in the United States. And I thank you to all my God, because I don't have a family, but I have a you. And thank you.
Okay, so I get the privilege of making the proclamation from the city of Beverly Hills, because what Ivo was way too modest to say all through this speech is that we wouldn't be here, this place wouldn't be here, if there weren't somebody overseeing everything that has happened here. Somebody overseeing it faithfully with a great respect for what the property is all about, what we are all about, how this came to be. And Ivo is too modest to tell you that he was that overseer, has been that overseer, and that any knowledge that we have right now, except of course for Mrs. Dowie, who knows a little bit more about it than the rest of us, but the knowledge that we have comes twice removed, and it's lucky that we have Ivo to tell us what was and what is. So the city of Beverly Hills has done a proclamation, which I'd like to read to you. It says, on September 5th, 2007, Virginia Robinson Gardens is honoring Ivo Hadjiev on the occasion of his 80th birthday and 40 years of service as caretaker of the Virginia Robinson Gardens in the state. Whereas Ivo is a native of Bulgaria who came to the United States in 1967, where he found employment with Mrs. Robinson and served as her majordomo until her death in 1977, and Ivo has shown extraordinary dedication as the curator and caretaker of the Virginia Robinson Gardens, overseeing the transfer, refurbishment, and restoration of the gardens into one of Los Angeles County's premier public gardens. Therefore, the mayor of the city of Beverly Hills, Jimmy Delshad, and the superintendents all congratulate and commend Ivo on his long career with Virginia Robinson Gardens in the state, and further recognize his commitment to our community. Like Tim, do have a quotation that I came across over the weekend that I wanted to share, because I think it so epitomizes what Ivo has done here. It's from playwright Arthur Miller, and it was his reaction to the Brooklyn Bridge. And he said upon seeing the Brooklyn Bridge, "The city is fundamentally a practical, utilitarian invention. And then suddenly, you see the sealed poetry sticking out. It makes you feel that maybe you too could add something that might last and would be beautiful." And I think that there's no question that what our beloved Ivo has done here is made this place something that will last and is unbelievably beautiful.
All my friends, Bruce Meyer is here, my dear friend. Bruce Meyer is here. I heard, yes, I see one other friend is here, you know. Yes, I see all over him, all friend. I see here and touch me to the heart. Surprise me very happily. Mrs. Williamson is here, the friend of Mrs. Robinson. Yes, and I want, please, send him, everybody to see, everybody know it. Miss Williamson. Real friend of Mrs. Robinson. And after Mrs. Robinson passed away, for 25 years in our green lawn, who is still there and much beautiful than before. Thank you of this man who is close to me. And I like to tell you, Mrs. Williamson controlled the beautiful tradition of the house, open season of Hollywood Bowl for many, many, many years. I think 25 was but with Mrs. Robinson, and was glorious years. And I'm so glad Mrs. Williams came to represent it, this glorious past, but I thought and you represented the glorious present with the Friends of Robinson. And for the past and for the present, I received this proclamation. Thank you, all of you. Thank you to my family.
All right. I'm Ivo, first of all, happy birthday.
Thank you very, very much.
I love this man, and
We know him for a long time.
we have shared so many beautiful, happy memories. And I was privileged to put on the last Hollywood Bowl patroness party here in the Robinson Gardens.
That's good.
And it was so beautiful, and we
Sydney
always
Weiss.
Sydney Weiss,
Weiss,
and
yes.
Sydney Weiss, who was concertmaster of the Philharmonic at that time, was a very shy man, and usually our honoree would speak, but
Yeah.
he chose not to speak at all, but just play his violin, and his wife played the piano.
Yes, they
And-
came from the Monte Carlo. Was concertmaster of the Philharmonic Monte Carlo. And great friend of Miss Williamson.
It was a beautiful evening, and I chose to use pink and violet as the colors. And can't remember the name of the man who always did the flowers, but he said, "Well, that won't work. That just won't work." And I said, "Yes, it will."
What?
It turns out that those
Beautiful.
were Mrs. Robinson's favorite
Colors.
colors, and
Yeah.
it just sang out there, didn't
That's
it,
right.
Ivo?
That's
It
true.
was beautiful.
Yes.
And
yes.
a beautiful evening. So we share many, many happy memories.
Memories.
So
Yes, you darling person. Thank you very much to came. You two came, Nancy, you. Yes, we know for many, many, many years.
Many years, and years that are very important to my family.
Yes.
Memories that he has really recognized and talked about. And we look at him and marvel at someone who has taken such responsibility and is really one of the leader of, I feel, the Robinson Gardens right here.
Well, well, she's the grandniece of Miss Robinson, Nancy Town. Yes, and Miss Williamson, real friend of Mrs. Robinson. Miss Robinson, love Miss Robinson.
Ok, ciao Ivo, ti desidero molti buoni compleanni a te. I wish you a very happy birthday, Ivo, 80th birthday, and thank you for everything you've done for the Virginia Robinson Gardens. It would not be the same without you.
Hi, I just wanted to say happy birthday to Ivo, and thank you so much for sharing your life and your stories with us. It's so wonderful to have you. You are like a treasure. Happy birthday.
Dearest Ivo, feliz cumpleaños, happy birthday. As I said, to know you is to love you. Thank you for sharing so many wonderful stories. When I talk to you, I travel through the world and I enjoy every moment of it. Hope we have many, many more.
And Ivo, our family thinks the world of you. The girls, Catherine and Genevieve, love you, as Bill and I do as well. And I wanted to remind you that it was a very special occasion when we were in Istanbul, and we went to the home, the former home of your grandmother, who was the tobacco heiress, I guess.
and the government had taken it over, but we visited, we took pictures and brought it back, and I think it gave you some nice memories. So we love you, Ivo.
Okay, Ivo. As you know, Laura loves her time at the Robinson Gardens and loves being around you, and we are so happy to be here to celebrate your 80th birthday with you. To think that you spent 40 years, half of your life, affiliated with this lovely property and Mrs. Robinson, and the memories that you have of your times together with her are just priceless. We congratulate you on your birthday and your lifetime so well spent. We love you, Ivo. Thank you.
I want to say happy birthday to Ivo, and he's been a very, very dear friend of our family for many years. He introduced us to the Robinson Gardens. I was new to the United States, and I loved the fact to meet someone also from Europe who understood the same values and appreciates the same places. And I was just so happy to find out about this wonderful garden and have the opportunity to be part of it. And I'm really happy for Ivo to be part of our family, to be part of the children growing up, and listening to his stories. I love listening to his stories about history, what happened here at the Robinson Gardens, Miss Robinson's friends, Dolly Green, and so on and so forth, and who came to visit here and how they were served and who had to be served first. It all sounds very lovely, European, and he's a fantastic asset to this place. This place would not have survived the way it did without Ivo. I'm very grateful for that. I'm very grateful also for having him as a family friend again.
A good, warm friend.
A good warm friend.
A mentor. A memory mentor.
Especially during the garden tour?
Yeah, when, I'll never forget, when we shared sandwiches and we boxed the sandwiches up together. I must have been about 13 or 14, and he was just always so welcoming. Even though I was the youngest member, or just really young, he'd always embrace me, and he was really sweet, and he treated me like everybody else.
Yeah, and since we don't have a large family, he's become part of our family.
Not like a grandfather figure.
Yeah, because, exactly.
Grandfather Ivo.
There you go.
Yeah.
And we just wanted to send him our love and wish him the happiest
happiest
80th birthday. And a big hug and kiss from Jill and Lil.
Yeah.
And here's another 40. See you around.
Thank you, Ivo.
Thank you, Ivo, for being such a great friend.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Ivo, what a special day for us to share with you. We have known you so many years, and Ed and I have had so many special times with you that you have made a wonderful impact on our lives and on Robinson Gardens' lives. We wish you well and continued good health, and hope that we can share more good times together. Happy birthday.
Hi Ivo, it's a pleasure to be here on your birthday. This is a very special day, and you are a very special person. It's been wonderful to make your acquaintance, and Jerry and Brett and I really hold you as a good friend. We thank you for all the wonderful things you've done for the garden. God bless you, and happy 80th birthday.
Well, Ivo was my introduction to the Robinson Gardens. In fact, Ivo was one of my introductions to Los Angeles. I came here on a regular tour about 10 years ago. I brought my girlfriend, Linda Pijan, and there were 4 other people on the tour. And the docent was sick, so Ivo subbed as the docent that day. And after the tour, I said, this place is magical, you are incredible, and what can I do to get involved? And he said, well, we have this gardening tour in Gala. And shortly thereafter, we couldn't come to the garden tour, but we went to the Gala, and Alan and I got to sit with Ivo. And Ivo was just such an inspiration and joy, and Alan fell in love with him. And really, that's been our strongest connection with Los Angeles. And everybody here, in many ways, was through Ivo and his kindness and warmth and interest in bringing people here and getting people involved.
And I was lucky enough to work with Ivo in documenting his history when he first came to Los Angeles, and reviewed with him the work he did in Bulgaria and then in the Vatican. And he really is a wonderful gentleman who's contributed so much to our city.
Ivo, darling, you are the most special man in my life, unbeknownst to Harvey, which is why I'm speaking to you myself without him. Actually, you're the second most special man. And I just wanted to wish you a very, very happy birthday, happy 80th birthday. And I hope to spend many more times together.
It's such a pleasure to know this gentleman at Virginia Robinson Gardens, Ivo, who is the caretaker and has been here for many years. Today is his 80th birthday celebration, and we're just thrilled that he's with us, and he's done so much to contribute to this garden. This is a very rare and special place for LA County Parks and Recreation. The garden was dedicated to the county about 30 years ago by Mrs. Robinson in Beverly Hills, 9 acres. It's a very special garden for all of us, as is Ivo. He's a very special man. If I were to describe him, my thoughts are elegance, eloquence, and he's an exquisite man of character, poise, and grace. And we're so grateful to have him here with us and working with us here in the county in Parks and Recreation. Thanks.
Ivo, I've written a poem on the occasion of your 80th birthday. We're so happy to be here with you to celebrate. And so, here it is. To our dear Ivo, on your birthday. The stories you tell are incredible to hear. They speak of a life and a time that's so dear. You are a treasure of life and a very special man. Jack and I are so lucky to know a man who is so grand. You bring to our dear gardens the gift of a sight, of an age from the past, so know it we might. You are so dear, and as you turn this page in time, you should know and keep this in mind, that you, Ivo, bring to our lives a warm smile and a charm that absolutely defies. You bring us your love for your car, zoom, 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 and your delightful presence that daily fills every room. Thank you, our dear friend, for being who you are, a very fine gentleman, a scholar, our star. So on your birthday, we celebrate your life and your time. Know, dearest Ivo, that you are really one of a kind. Happy, happy birthday. Love, hugs, and kisses and all good things, dear Ivo, from Leslie and Jack.